welcome to another video, guys. We're here in Glasgow at the 3D Printing Expo. I've never been to this before. I don't really know what to expect, but basically this video we're going to take you through the doors of the centre. We're going to see all the 3D printing stands, all the new technology, just show you around basically. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Grab a cup of coffee and we'll see you in there.
So here we're just going into the Scottish Event Campus. This is a really great facility. It's actually the first time I'd ever been here. But yeah, it has everything you need in it. You've got meeting rooms, restaurant, cafe, basically everything you would need for a kind of conference type event. Now, we attended this thinking it was more of a hobby kind of level event, and we didn't actually realise until we got here that the Scottish Manufacturing Expo was on at the same time, and the 3D printing element was only part of this. So a bit of a error in judgment on our side, but yeah, it's still really interesting to be here. Here we are, we're at the first stand that we went to see. This was high on the list, and yeah, it was really busy. Loads of people talking to the guys here. This was the Mark 3D stand, which are the dudes that are behind the Mark Forged printers. I'm sure you've all heard of them or dreamt of having a Mark Forged printer at some point. They're super expensive, and they can print really exotic materials, whether that's composite stuff like continuous carbon fiber reinforcement printers, or all the way up to metal 3D printers as well. You can see the whole host of parts on the table here. There's an exhaust manifold from a car, sort of big kind of engineering grade test pieces, like you can see at the back of the table there. Lots of kind of automotive related parts, and also brake levers for motorbikes. This printer that you can see here is the Mark II, which is the one that does the continuous carbon fiber reinforcement, basically feeding in carbon fiber strands with normal sort of 3D printing filament, and it combines the two, so you get a really strong print. This component here is a print-in-place metal sort of little gear set. It's obviously just to showcase the capabilities of the printer, but yeah, the finish is amazing. And yeah, now we're straight on into Laser Lines, which are a distributor in the UK for the Stratasys printers and all the kind of laser printing capability machines. You can see there's some medical sort of template pieces which can be used by surgeons to sort of rehearse operations, basically, operations that you only get one chance at. Also really good for studying and sort of educational level medical pieces. There's some more resin printing examples. Really nice finish. Didn't get a huge amount of time to speak to these guys. They were busy as well, and they were probably more geared up towards speaking to sort of commercial parties that have got hundreds of thousands of pounds to spend on printing and machines, so not really interested in what we had to offer them or speak to them about. But yeah, they gave us some time. You can see there's just a traditional FDM print of a bracket. Quite a nice assembly down here of a brake pedal. I think he mentioned this was sort of a mock-up of a Formula 1 type pedal or something like that, but yeah, nothing crazy there. Nice finish to the machines. I'm not sure what exactly this was printed on, but this is more sort of thing that I'm interested in printing, and I could do this in my house, to be honest. Here's a stand. There's all their kind of partnerships and sort of distribution partners that they have. So Stratasys being the big one, they do MakerBot, Ultimaker. The Stratasys stuff is something that I've never really sort of investigated much, but as you'll see in a minute here, I think there's some crazy opportunities for printing in colour and actually printing onto fabric as well. Yeah, here you can see some metal pieces printed on a Stratasys machine. As you'd expect from this caliber printer, we're never going to purchase this at hobby grade, but insane quality finish. And yeah, I think this here was printed in like a powder printing, so yeah, not really hobby grade, but to be honest, I could see myself printing that on my Bamboo printer, and it wouldn't be too dissimilar. Just I get limited on materials, whereas this stuff, as you can see by this bike grip here, I mean, if you picked that up without knowing it was 3D printed, you would think that was just a regular injection molded bike grip. Literally a functional component. And yeah, the metal stuff is just incredible. I can't wait for this to sort of teeter down into the hobby grade printing. I don't know how far away that is, but it is really cool. And for someone that's into cars and motorbikes and cycling, that's where I would get the most use out of all this stuff. So yeah, just looking around the stand,
I'll pan over in a second.
you can see some amazing like print and play stuff here. It's kind of a mesh.
Nice.
And then yeah, little sort of template pieces. These are all kind of sample prints, and we actually saw across a couple of different stands they all had the same kind of sample print, so it must be the best prints to showcase these printers. You can see there that there's actually a metal nut on there. And then yeah, so here we go, this is onto
That's incredible.
this crazy printing onto fabric, and you can see the colours that they get in there. This is something I need to look into a little bit more, just from an interest perspective, but some of the fabric finishes, and I mean, this is the sort of stuff you could see on catwalks and fashion shows. It's just incredible. Like, I love the colours and the patterns that they get. It's really quite geometric. And yeah, that's the first time I'd ever seen this, so it was really cool. So this is the next stall. It's a company called Formlabs, and they sort of specialise in SLA style printers, supplying the printers, materials and support, stuff like that. But they had some really cool models on display, and actually SLA printers are something that I'm not that familiar with. Never really looked into them, and I've never seen one up close, and I've never seen the prints up close. But yeah, gotta say my mind was kind of blown with just the level of detail and quality that you can see in these parts. That's a screwdriver and a little kind of wrench, and then that's a print in place. These are just, again, just example prints, but another good example of a print in place sort of kind of puzzle object ornament. But yeah, I mean, the quality of the parts was just incredible. That's a snorkeling mask, sort of more used for kind of prototyping design pieces, not necessarily functional pieces. As you can see here, there's more car parts. That's an intake manifold for a car, and then this is kind of like a vacuum sort of prototype component that you would see clipped in with like a hose. But yeah, the quality and detail with these prints is just out of this world. That's another Hoover component, and you can see there a bike pedal as well. Yeah, I mean, the detail in SLA printing is just unrivaled in comparison to FDM printers. There's some dental sort of molds. You can see here we got a couple of Star Wars models, some more bike parts, and just kind of ornamental stuff. A lot of people use these for the likes of Warhammer models, which would then be painted. But you can see there's also functional prints like this watch strap, which is made of a kind of flexible material, TPU, and then a kind of demonstration of a spring component. More bike brake levers, which seem a really popular kind of example print. I guess it's a simple shaped print, but complex to machine if you were to use traditional machining methods. Then you've got, again, more kind of example prints showing the sort of capabilities of the printers. I was asking here, because I'm not familiar with it, whether these prints have an infill pattern, much like you do on a regular 3D printer, but I believe these are all kind of solid components, just the nature of how they're built. How they're made on the printer. This kind of component here, again, because I come from an engineering background, I find this stuff really interesting. So you can see that's made from a material, I think it's called nylon 12, and you can see apparently that threaded component was printed in place there. But yeah, I just love the detail on like the flanges and the bolt holes and the little kind of webbing features. And I mean, if you look at the threads there, it's really pretty, incredible. Looks like it's been machined, not printed. This was one of the components that was in the display stand earlier, and I actually broke it there, which the guy didn't seem to mind. But yeah, so that was Formlabs. Company's called Advent 3D, but yeah, Formlabs is more who they're representing. So yeah, really cool. On to the next booth. This was a company called Defiant 3D, as you can see there. Funnily enough, the chap that started this company is actually from the northeast of Scotland, up near Aberdeen, so pretty close to home. And it was really cool to speak to him. He'd basically built this DIY metal 3D printer just on his own, designed every component of it, and is getting it ready, as you can see there, for pre-orders, £40,000. You can see some of the components here. It was a shame there wasn't really any examples of completed components, but these were kind of deforms that he'd experienced while he was sort of testing the machine out. I was really keen to find out more information on it and see some proper examples of sort of good quality prints, but maybe we can get in touch with them and see if we could arrange a little kind of demo or on-site video. I think that would be really cool. So there's some more information there. But yeah, Defiant 3D. The next stand here is a company called Kingsbury, who they cater to MOD work, sort of space companies, all sorts of crazy industries. But yeah, I just thought this technology was really cool and worth showing. But a lot of this stuff is 3D printed on obviously metal 3D printers, and you can see just the insane level of detail here. I mean, this is made out of metal, and you would never be able to make that any other way other than by 3D printing it, really. You can see this component's really cool because it uses something called generative design, which is something that I've always wanted to kind of get into and experiment a bit with. It's made out of titanium, so it's super lightweight. The same goes for this kind of exhaust splitter here. Again, made out of titanium, can withstand really high temperatures, but it's also super lightweight. So you would see that in something like Formula 1 or some kind of motorsport application. Again, here's some more generative design components. Generative design being designs that are generated by AI, really, which is really cool. And now we're on to another display here. I just thought it's cool to see a Bambu printer. That's one of the new X1E, the Enterprise editions. Looks very similar to my X1C, the carbon model, but you can see all the components that are printed from that printer here. So that's like a kind of drill casing. There's again lots more car parts like exhaust manifold, which I'm trying to show you here if the camera focuses. Amazing light finish, as you would expect from the Bambu products. And then there's more kind of hose clamps and yeah, really cool kind of functional stuff. But these guys actually showed us a demo of the Peel 3D. I think it's called the Peel 3D, the Peel 3 scanner. So this guy gave us a complete live demo. We've kind of sped it up a little bit here, but he on the spot scanned this this component, and then scanned the underside of it as well, and meshed the two scans together to have a complete component which you could then design from, which is just insane. I've had a little shot of a 3D scanner before, but a really cheap one, and I think this chap said this one was about £11,000 with the software included, which sounds like a lot of money, but when you see this working and how flawlessly it worked, I could totally understand how that would be, it make total sense if that's the sort of thing you're looking for. If you're designing car parts or really bespoke kind of components, like one-off components for maybe an unusual space or something. But yeah, this was a really good demo, and you can see there that the stand was part of the Trimech group, I believe. In a minute, you'll see that the guy that was giving us the demo had actually been invited down to scan Richard Hammond's crashed kind of dragster from a few years ago. So he showed us that. He said he scanned the complete car in about 8 hours, which is just insane. And yeah, the scanner can also capture like photogrammetry, I think it's called, data. So obviously you get the 3D geometry, but it also can overlay a photorealistic surface finish as well, which, yeah, really cool tech. and I mean something I would love to get my hands on in the future. And finally, the last stand that we wanted to show you is by a company called iRobot, a play on the word I, the Scottish word AYE, and the film iRobot, which I thought was pretty cool. But I mean, this is totally unrelated to 3D printing to some degree, but I just thought, yeah, this is so cool. Like, to see this stuff up close and personal, you don't get this opportunity very often. And yeah, this was one of the robots meshing gears together, which you'll see in 2 seconds. This last gear, the robot actually picks it up, places it down in between these 3 gears, and finds the mesh point of the gear, which is pretty crazy. You can see here.
Okay guys, that was our look around the Scottish 3D Printing Expo. We've seen some really good advancements in technology here, but also we've seen some stuff at the other end of the scale. You know, we've seen some bamboo printers, which I've currently got, but at the same time we've seen metal 3D printers, some generatively designed parts, some amazing new materials coming out, just tons of new stuff. So hopefully you found that somewhat interesting, and I'm going to put some links in the description of some of the companies that we've seen, some of the new technology, and yeah, we need to get moving quickly because the industry is going 100 miles an hour. So yeah, we need to keep pushing on. Alright, thanks guys. If you like this video, make sure you give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment or ask us a question as well if you've got anything you want to know about. Alright, thanks.